So earlier today, you might have seen I posted a reaction video to another YouTube video. And with that, I think I have opened Pandora's box, and anything on YouTube that is even remotely interesting, I have to react to. Now, I am not gonna do like reaction videos to entertainment videos or something, but news related videos and speculation videos, now those are on the table. As long as I pause infinitely and make an 8-minute video go to fucking 45 minutes. Anyways, I will try to reel back a little bit though, because while most reactors the problem is that they don't contribute anything, my problem is the opposite. I contribute so much that the video becomes unwatchable. Anyways, with that, I have chosen to react to They Must Have Planned This for Hogwarts Legacy DLC by Jordan Raptor. And the first chapter is called We Will Meet Dumbledore. So obviously I had to react to it. Let's get into it, shall we? And let's just like Lumos, the dark screen has suddenly turned bright. Why was it dark in the first place though? It's a weird thing.
I think they already planned some big DLC for Hogwarts Legacy, looking at hints and
Getting
clues you
straight
can
into
already
it.
find in the game.
Well, Chamber of Secrets for one thing, because this is the Chamber of Secrets bathroom, isn't it?
Curious to hear your thoughts in the comments. A like would really support the channel. Subscribe for more Hogwarts Legacy videos.
Also, did anyone realize that with the Salazar Slytherin Scriptorium and the secret Depulsor training rooms and the secret herbology corridor, apparently the Chamber of Secrets is not that special anymore because Hogwarts is just chock filled with like secret passageways and secret rooms. That's not even counting the map corridor.
And let's go. So the Bizarre Burrito posted a very interesting theory under one of our videos, which is that our time as a student at Hogwarts ultimately ties into the beginning of another very
Hold on, they'll save what idea
Which
for
is
the
that our
sequel. But since the protagonist is 5th year, that means they will be 7th year in the same year that Albus Dumbledore starts. Yeah, I don't think Albus Dumbledore is going to come in this year. I think they are going to make a trilogy of games focused on this protagonist, make like a Mass Effect kind of sort of thing. And then the final one we'll meet Dumbledore, or maybe we might meet Dumbledore. Like the boy still exists clearly, so we might meet him like outside in one of the side quests, or maybe main quest, I don't know. And then they will make Mass Effect Andromeda and kill the entire franchise. Moving on.
time as a student
And then it will be revived later on as Hogwarts Legacy, the Legendary Edition.
at Hogwarts ultimately ties into the beginning of another very famous wizard story, Albus Dumbledore. The reason for this is that Albus first went to Hogwarts in 1892. Our 5th year takes place in 1890, meaning that our final year at Hogwarts would be Dumbledore's first, which has to be planned, right? Even though we've
Yeah,
come
it
to learn
has to
even
be.
more about his story in the Fantastic Beasts films, there is still a lot of mystery surrounding Albus, and I think that accompanying
By the way, whatever we did come to learn, it contradicted with the original story, didn't it? Because according to the original story, he was a transfiguration teacher, and in this one, he is taking defense against the dark arts.
him as he comes to Hogwarts for his first year would be a really cool way to expand on his character. And this could also open up another location for us to visit, which holds a lot of significance in the wizarding world, Godric's Hollow. It is of course
Godric's
famous
Hollow.
for the incident
Okay.
which killed Voldemort the first time and gave Harry his scar, but that has not happened yet in the 19th century. However, that's far from the only legend that spawned here, as it's the birthplace of Godric Gryffindor, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts, as well as the final resting place of Ignotus Peverell, one of the 3 brothers from the story of the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, so because they did show the story of the Deathly Hallows in this book format in the main video game, I still haven't reached that part of the story, but it's been spoiled for me, as all things are on in the internet. So I think that could be one way they will get into it. Also, since we are on the topic, the keepers, right? I feel like the keepers are kind of like they're really shady throughout the game, right? And I really feel that in the in any future installments, it should be explored that the keepers maybe aren't the best of people either, right? So one of them straight up just killed Isidora Morganach, and then another one, and then when Isidora Morganach left memories of herself, they all became like, oh my god, Isidora left memories, what the hell has happened? Anyways.
Many notable wizarding families live or used to live here, including, you've guessed it, the Dumbledores. Albus and his family actually moved.
Will this be time close enough for us to meet Grindelwald? No, he met later. He met Dumbledore later, right? Or did they meet when they were less than 11 years old? I don't know.
Here after his father was imprisoned in the year.
What is that Dementor doing? Look at this.
The Dumbledores. Albus and his family actually
Look at
moved here
this.
after his father was imprisoned in the year 18.
This Dementor looks like a still PNG image surfing across the screen. Well,
91, which would be during our 6th year at Hogwarts. I would not be surprised if this was the 91,
What?
which would. His family
What?
actually moved here after his father was imprisoned in the year 1891, which would be during our 6th year at Hogwarts.
so hold on. So I guess we can meet Ariana Dumbledore. If we do meet him in the and when we do, that story will play a parallel to Sebastian Sallow's questline, which coincidentally he's over here and he's being flipped over upside down. Wow, what an uncomfortable position to be in. But yeah, what I was saying is that this would play parallels to Sebastian Sallow's questline, which I don't know, was that intentional? With his sister Anne being cursed and all these things. I don't know, this could have been intentional.
I would not be surprised if this was the plan from the start, so they would have an interesting tie-in for potential DLC where we experience our 6th and 7th years at Hogwarts. That is of course speculation on my end, but usually these things are planned.
I really hope the 6th and 7th year isn't just fucking DLC and like it's actually like another, like 2 other games. Like that would be a total buzzkill. That it's just like they made this entire DLC for that, they made this entire game play throughout 1 year, and the final 2 years is just DLC. Come on, man, we do better.
Planned for in advance. So then, during our 6th year, we'd be learning new spells, but in the meantime, rumors of the tragic situation that caused Albus's father to end up in jail are spreading throughout the school. And then
However, if they did make DLC, there is like a potential DLC setting set for Azkaban. There are files inside there, and people are pretty sure that it's not just the Azkaban section in the in the Hufflepuff quest line. So there could be DLC where we go to Azkaban, and because of that, we could maybe see Dumbledore's father.
in our final year, we meet a young Dumbledore, and as we're leaving school, pass along some of the secrets we have learned to him, which will set him on the path to becoming one of the greatest wizards ever known. And while I don't
Did Dumbledore ever use ancient magic? Also, if they actually do that, that would be the worst thing ever, because that would essentially become like a self-insert kind of fan fiction, where it's like, oh, do you think Dumbledore is the greatest wizard ever? Well, my original character taught him everything. That's it. It could be shit.
think that every story in the wizarding world needs to be tied back to the original 7 books. It's really a trend we see all over the place. Marvel is tying everything together, Star Wars is still leaning heavily on.
And Marvel and Star Wars are heavily criticized for it. So I don't think that's the right example. Although, if they are doing it, they might actually think that something is working about it, right? I don't know. Anyways, let's see.
on characters and stories from the first trilogy, and we can already see a similar thing where Newt's story in Fantastic Beasts turns into the greater story, which again is about Dumbledore. So I would not be surprised if Avalanche wants to tie their story into the main narrative of the wizarding world as well, and I think this is the best way of doing it. And there is actually another hint in the game that is kind of pointing to the whole Dumbledore-Grindelwald conflict, and it has to do with this guy right here. He stands out a bit because of his clothing already, but if you ever catch dialogue from him, you see that he also has a name, Hector Fawley, which means you are looking at the future Minister of Magic, specifically the one that was in power during the Rise of Grindelwald, the same time period as the Fantastic Beasts movie.
Flamboyant Folly. Now that's a name nobody will ever forget. Okay then. So much for this story not tying into the original stories then.
Now, it could be that Avalanche decided to put this guy in as an Easter egg, but his character design really makes him stand out, which is not something they had to do. So again,
I have not come across this character yet. Or maybe I have and I missed it. I don't get it. This guy is wearing pretty flamboyant clothes though.
And I think they might have already planned this and that we might come across Hector for a potential quest or two in the future. It might even be that we get to visit the Ministry of Magic with him, although he is of course no minister yet. Our visit to the Ministry is one of the theories we discussed in our Future is Bright video, so I don't want to repeat it here, but if you haven't watched that one yet, I will put a link to it in the video description. But while Dumbledore's rise to power is definitely a very strong focus for your story, I think a lot of people also want to spend more time with some of the new characters Avalanche has introduced, specifically your companions. And while we of course wrap up the storylines for each companion nicely over the course of the main game, I do think that all of them still have more stories to tell. I did some reading on the dragon you save with Poppy during her quest chain, and it turns out that the Hebridean Black is native to the Scottish Hebrides Islands, which I don't think are currently in the game. So who knows, maybe Poppy decides it's time to bring the dragon and her child home again.
Also with the dragon, right? Like I and many others had the feeling that dragons are going to be like a big part of the entire DLC. I was gonna say of the entire story. Like many of the dragons were used like as used as like end trailer stingers, and well. They aren't really featured throughout the game. Like, yeah, some quest lines for sure, but like, I don't know. I still think there should have been a dragon boss fight or something. Come on, Portkey Games, do better. It's not like you already made the best Hogwarts game ever.
And we get to visit the Hebrides Islands and discover more of its wildlife. Keeping my fingers crossed for a dragon mount if that is true, by the way. Jordan has already been able to try this out with mods on PC and it looks great, plus there is still an open spot in the flying mounts menu that is not being used right now, so I can definitely see it happening. But
they could just fill that in with a DLC. Like, I don't know if there's any other kind of flying mount. There is Hippogriff, there is Thestral. What else? I hope it's not just another color skin like this one.
Visiting a group of islands in Scotland feels like a pretty natural expansion of the map, so I reckon this could be a separate DLC that also expands the open world. Now, Sebastian's questline also has some very interesting points, but for that we would have to get into some heavy spoiler territory, which I already did in our Choices and Consequences video. So again, if you are curious, check it out via the link in the video description, as it's totally possible that we haven't seen the last of him, with our choices having a bigger impact on the future. But there
My interpretation of this would be that if you do decide to betray Sebastian, he actually breaks out of Azkaban somehow. When was the last break out of Azkaban before series? So I don't think that's possible. So like if he does go to Azkaban, he can't break out of Azkaban. Because according to the lore, the first person to break out of Azkaban would be Bartholomew Crouch Jr. But what if Sebastian isn't sent to Azkaban. Do wizards have juvenile prisons? I don't know. And also, like, what if he escapes before that? I think like one of the choices, just making Sebastian go completely out of the story, is it's like a huge waste. Like, I'm like, if you don't betray him, for sure he's gonna appear in the sequels and DLCs that follow. But if you do betray him, I guess my thinking is, like, if you do betray him, he because he still hates goblins, he's going to become like a major antagonist going forward. And if you don't betray him, things actually turn out for the better, which could be some subtle commentary on how Azkaban bad. Well, see, we'll see.
There are more Hogwarts students that give us clues as to where we might possibly go next. One of them is Nerida Roberts, who is working on establishing.
Yeah, so this would be like the underwater DLC that people were talking about, because it could be this could be like really, really interesting. Like, if they now introduce underwater segments in Hogwarts Legacy, that would really be like the cherry on top. And they could introduce the Triwizard tournament, right? Because the Triwizard tournament, how often does it happen? So it happens once every 5 years. Right? Oh, they discontinued this after 1792. I was thinking that maybe they could go with the Triwizard tournament angle, but it could still be like a homage to the original Triwizard tournament task, right? Because more people and all.
Establishing contact with the mer people that live in the Black Lake. And she actually succeeds in this, as the mer people left her an artifact in a sort of exchange of gifts. We know mer people are sentient, although like centaurs they refuse to be classified as a being by the Ministry of Magic, which leaves their relationship with the wizarding world in kind of an awkward position.
They refuse to be classified as
are
a
sentient,
being?
although like centaurs, they refuse to be classified as a being by the Ministry of Magic, which leaves
I thought they refused to be classified as a beast.
Their relationship with the wizarding world in kind of an awkward position. But we might be able to help with that by visiting their underwater settlement and making contact with them. There are many ways in which a witch
steal the liaison of more people away from Nerida Roberts, why don't you?
or wizard is able to safely swim underwater without losing breath, from gillyweed and shapeshifting to the bubblehead charm, so if this is where we are going, safe bet that one of those will be included as a mechanic too.
Also, there are times when you dive in and you then reappear some like far away place in a cave or something. How does your character do that? Just like do they just hold their breath for like infinite amounts of time? Because it would take a long time to dive and then come out in an air pocket, right? Don't know. Let's see. Also, Master Navigator, our character, apparently.
Seeing how Hogwarts Legacy did a lot to teach us more about goblin culture, I think it's not that far of a stretch for the game to teach us more about other magical societies as well. But there is an even more interesting place in Hogwarts we might potentially explore, and that is the Chamber of Secrets. This is of course where Salazar Slytherin hid a basilisk that could be used by the heir of Slytherin to purge the school of impure blood.
Right now, the heir of Slytherin would be Ominous Gaunt, right? Well, if he opens the Chamber of Secrets, well, then I don't think we can really blame dumb Voldemort, because Ominous really is one of the most, the best of the Gaunts, so... well,
the entrance is hidden behind a tap in the witch's bathroom somewhere in the castle, marked by the symbol of Salazar Slytherin. And you can actually already find this exact spot in the game pretty close to the Slytherin dungeon. If you start at the viaduct entrance Flue Flame and enter the school from there, you want to take the small door on the right immediately after you enter and walk all the way down the stairs. Take a right and then another right to enter the witch's bathroom, where you can spot a weird marking on one of the taps. There's even a field guide guide page here that mentions the small snake on one of the tabs, although it also says that no one knows what it means. Still though, we can't interact with it as the chamber can only be opened by the heir of Slytherin, which basically means it can only be opened by someone who speaks Parseltongue. And well, what do you know? We've already met someone who fits that description, as Slytherin student and Sebastian's friend Ominous is part of the Gaunt family, meaning he can speak Parseltongue. Now the chamber is a bit of a touchy subject, as we
What I wonder is, when did the first parcel chunk come along? Was it magic or was it always genetic? In which case, if it's always genetic, it would be a random mutation, in which case, it's not specific to the Gaunt family. There could be other parcel tongue. Maybe our character could become a parcel tongue. Or maybe we could do a Ron thing where Ron like essentially memorized Harry's Harry the way Harry does parcel tongue, and use that to open the Chamber of Secrets. That could be something else entirely.
cannot kill or unleash the basilisk because that would contradict the events from the books. However, it is
Or they could just go complete batshit insane and establish that this is an alternate universe, which would be something.
mentioned that there was clear evidence that the chamber had been opened more than once between its creation and the 20th century. So it's
Okay,
not
then.
impossible that one of these openings happened in the 19th century. And besides, it is called the Chamber of Secrets, plural, so I would imagine it has more to hide than just the basilisk, meaning there might be more dark secrets for us to discover when we go down there. But there is something
Maybe a
that
way
I do
to
find
save Anne,
difficult to wrap
finally.
my head around. During Sebastian's quest, Ominous is very much presented as the voice of reason, and he is very reluctant to touch on anything related to his family or dark magic. Since this
Okay.
belief is even further reinforced at the end of Sebastian's questline, there has to be a very convincing reason for Ominous to speak Parseltongue and, pardon my pun, open the most ominous room in the entire castle. Still though, the entrance
We do
already
not
exists
pardon your
in the
pun.
game. It is a very interesting location to visit, and it's not completely out of the question, so I am keeping my hopes up. And while I hate to be the bearer of bad news, there is one theory that I've also seen a lot about a potential DLC about a Triwizard tournament. The Espresso also
I don't
commented
think-
about it
I don't
under
think
a
that can
previous
done
video,
because
and there is an
Triwizard
actual
tournament has
in-game
been-
clue as well.
The Triwizard tournament has been defunct for over over 17 since 1792, right? So wait, when does this? Hold on.
My hopes up. And while I hate to be the about a Triwizard tournament in-game clue, as well as the casing for the Goblet of Fire used in the tournament to decide the participants, can be found in the trophy room, again with its own field guide page to boot. If you want to find it, simply go to the Flue Flame with the same name. If you want to check it out yourself, it's all the way at the top of the grand staircase. And it would be one hell of a quest though, with 3 challenges, which will then require their own preparations, which is an easy way to set us up with new spells, potions, plants, and other useful abilities. It would also introduces the students from different
When is he
wizarding
gonna
schools,
say it?
specifically
When is he
Darmstrang
gonna
and
say it
Beauxbaton,
that it's
so
not
all
actually
good things. But yeah,
possible?
I'm not a big believer in this one. The problem is that, to my knowledge, a Triwizard tournament in 1890 would be in conflict with some of the established
Exactly.
lore. During the
Exactly.
introduction of the Triwizard tournament in Harry's time, it is said that the tournament had been cancelled because of the high death toll. This was in 1792. The only reason
Well,
a new tournament
said less.
was allowed in the 1990s was because of some very strict new regulations from the Ministry of Magic to ensure the safety of the students. Those worked
Exactly.
out great, by the way, guys. Good job.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel like a Triwizard tournament in
Yep, worked out great. the the only negative side to the Triwizard tournament was the return of, was that a great dark wizard that had disappeared for so long only used it to return back. Good job, guys. Nice job setting up these safety mechanics.
1890 would have certainly been mentioned before, which is
Also, who played
feel
this?
like it's
Who played the fourth version? Sorry, who played the fourth year Harry Potter game, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, so long to get until the third task? Oh my god, that game is horrific. Ugh. Who played this game for so long? I, just like hats off to you, man. Whoever did this, you sir are a treasure to humanity. Now no one has to play this game till that point ever again.
Triwizard Tournament in 1890 would have certainly been mentioned before, which is why I think it's very unlikely to see that as a DLC. So did we miss any DLC hints or teases? Let us know in the comments, and of course subscribe to not miss any of our Hogwarts Legacy videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and if you want, you can watch our previous video on why we will likely see DLC by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Also,
I think
DLC
they
will take a little while, won't it? Because they still haven't released the last gen version of the Hogwarts Legacy game. So until that is out, it's gonna be a while. Don't forget that Ominous Gaunt is technically the heir of Slytherin. Yeah, he is. He would be the most soft-spoken heir of Slytherin that we have ever seen. Not gonna lie. I would say that Tri-Visit tournament could not be allowed, but that does not mean that we can't have other visit tournaments of other kinds in other schools. An equivalent different name for Tri-Visit tournament could be held at Ilvermorny or the other schools. Could be. Which, by the way, Ilvermorny is the only other wizard school that we know the history of, right? Because we know about um who was the witch who started. I know she was from the Gaunt family. Would be, I don't know. It's also interesting that Dumbledore also had an uncanny knowledge of ancient magic that even most studied orders didn't have. Exactly. Hey, hold on. Could Dumbledore also see traces of ancient magic? In which case, it would actually be interesting for us to sort of be like a trainer for him. Hmm. Here I am eating my own words, I guess. Grindelwald delved a bit into ancient secrets, but odd Albus wouldn't have been able to fight him with anything found in the books. No, he would have had to have experience on finding ancient magic sites and how to access them and find those secrets. Which, by the way, when are we going to get an explanation for that scene in Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore? Uh, where Credence does something to Dumbledore and they essentially, I don't know, go into the mirror world or something, and then they come out of it for some reason. Uh, that scene needs some explanation. I guess there was some explanation in the screenplay, but not everyone reads the screenplay. People see the movie, and that's it. Well, anyways, the whole Dumbledore Sixth Sign more like squeal stuff rather than DLC. Oh, you mean sequel stuff? Squeal stuff. Okay then. Especially, uh, they add all the new areas in that open world outside of Hogwarts, and not going to lie, but that is what I'm hoping for. You need to improve your grammar, mate. Sorry to be a grammar Nazi. All right, that's enough for right now. I'm a little drowsy, if you can't tell. It's it's 6 in the morning here. What am I doing with my life? Anyway, so this or a video is obviously made by Jordan Raptor, or Jaw Raptor as people call him, and if you like this content, then please go head over to his channel. I will link the video down in the description. Head over to his channel, give this video a like, hit the subscribe button, let them know I sent you. Also, if you like my video, my commentary on it, then please hit the like button. uh, uh, Leave a comment down below with your thoughts, share this with your friends, uh, and all that wonderful stuff. If you want to know more about me, the links to my socials will be down in the description, along with the link to my website www.nightwalkergc.com. This is where I post opinion pieces and other articles which I don't think I want to keep on the YouTube channel proper, but I do want to talk on. There will also be the link to buy my novel, which is Dreams of Affection. It's a dark fantasy science fiction novel. It's right here. Its sequel will be out soon. Almost done with it. It's just more of a spin off, but you get the idea. Um, So if you want to check that out, a short description of the novel can be found in the description along with the links to buy it. And if you like my content, uh, and and if you like my content, I basically do reaction videos like this, mostly to trailers, and now I've begun reacting to certain YouTube videos which give information like this one. um and I make gameplay videos. uh so if that is your thing, then hit the subscribe button with the bell icon, all notifications turned on, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye everyone.